right, so we are underway. While this is not the first video in this section, this is where we really start on the training. Exciting, let's get to it. So, look, this first video is all about understanding what it personally takes to win. This week right here is the most important week in the course. I stated that in other videos. I think if you only got this week out of the course and you applied this, I think your business results would be incredible. I even think that if you only got this week and couldn't get access to the rest of the course, it would have more impact on you than if you got access to the rest of the course but not this week. That's because the dividing line between you being incredibly successful and getting great results and having a business that makes a lot of money long-term and consistently, and I mean long-term and consistently, that's the goal here, that you're able to scale, and the difference between you getting poor, unsustainable results has nothing to do with tactics. It has absolutely nothing to do with tactics. Now, don't get me wrong, these tactics and strategies are going to help you slingshot this, and they're going to be like gasoline on a fire. But the problem here is you have to have the fire first. And if I pour gasoline when there's no fire, we're just going to have a big old mess that's impossible to clean up. Have you ever cleaned up gasoline? It's disgusting. And I want to state one thing before I dive into the mind section. This is not a self-help course. Now, look, I like you. I want you to be happy. I want you to have an incredible life. I want you to have a well-balanced life of meaning, purpose, and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not here to Tony Robbins you, and you're not here to get Tony Robbins. So for the rest of this course, I want you to understand that I'm not focused on your life happiness. I'm not focused on, how well you feel. I'm not focused on your balance. I'm not focused on anything that doesn't have to do with your output and efficiency. Everything I'm going to talk about in the mind section here, I am looking at you like a car. And yeah, I'm looking at you like a car that I need to win a race. In order for me to win this race, which is make you a lot of money, all I care about is output and efficiency. Everything I'm going to tell you right here is critical to output and efficiency. And if your output and efficiency sucks and you're trying to win a race, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And I'll explain this more in a second. I just want to state, I'm not going to be telling you haikus right now or how to go read a poem to yourself or meditate. Everything I'm going to focus on is purely output and efficiency. And if it's not based around it, I'm not going to tell you that. If you want to go find happiness, how to have positive relationships, that's amazing. I could talk to you about that. Talk to me about that in the group, but that's not what we're here to do. And that's not what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to try and Brendan Butcher Tony Robbins you. The problem with why most people can't get results long-term is they approach their business in a way where they think, how can I make millions more without doing anything hard or much sacrifice? How can I be successful without pain? Now, I'm not doing this to make some Navy SEAL speech about sacrifice and hard work and put myself on some pedestal of look how much I've suffered to achieve. That's not what we're doing here. I just don't know how you can move forward if you don't understand how to do hard things and how hard things work and how to sacrifice properly. And the first point of this video is it's going to be a lot of truths that are just ugly. And the thing is, in our lives, most of the time, we just avoid truths. And the truths are the things that hold us back, and avoiding them in particular is what holds us back. The truths I'm going to talk about right here are probably going to piss you off. They're going to be ugly and they're not going to be fun to hear. But the thing is, if you avoid truth, your business plateaus. You end up in a business you don't like. You end up making money, but you're empty. And because of that, you can't sustain the money. Your business is garbage and gives no value, which nobody wants to be a part of. And you miss out on your life's purpose. And I'm not talking about life's purpose for the point of being happy and being able to look back at the end of the day and say, man, I achieved my life's purpose. I'm talking about if you don't get into your life's purpose, if you don't understand exactly what's going to keep you going and get you out of bed every single morning, you're not going to be able to be very efficient because no one's good at something they don't like to do or they don't find purpose in. You're just not. And so many of the answers in my solutions involve removing, stopping, and making ugly decisions you don't want to make. And the reason why a lot of us get stuck in our businesses is because we can't remove. Okay, we can't stop doing things. We can't make those ugly decisions, and we can't look at hard truths. And if you try to approach your business without facing these things right here, what's going to happen is you're just going to end up stuck, and you can't get past this. You cannot move forward until you address this stuff. And working hard in tactics are not the problem. Man, I've experimented with working like 18-hour days, sleeping 3 hours, running 6 different businesses. Doesn't work if you don't understand these concepts. It won't work at all. And all those are really a symptom of being inefficient as hell. And the thing is, working hard and working harder and putting in more time and applying more tactics, that's the easy part. Okay, I don't think anybody watching this has a problem with hard work and applying tactics. That's not what's hard for you to apply. Sacrifice and truth are hard, and that's why you can't move forward a lot of times, because the hard things are the things you're not doing. You can do the easy things. Man, I can work for 12 hours, no problem, okay? You want me to eat dirt? I'll eat dirt, but eating dirt isn't hard, okay? My dog can eat dirt. My dog cannot make certain sacrifices in their life, like not eating for a day, or going and I'm not going to use a dog analogy because it's stupid, but sacrifice and truth are hard. Everybody out there can work harder. Okay, there's plenty of people that can work 12 hours a day laying bricks. There's very few people that can make sacrifices in their life and accept hard truths. So the paradox of success is this. I want you to imagine you're a basketball player rising through the ranks right now. And so you got into college ball by simply being better than other high schoolers. And so this is the situation you're probably in right now. I want you to think about yourself and your friend group and really everyone you've met in your life. Now, this might not be 100% true, but you are probably the smartest person you've ever met. I want you to back up. So if you think about this, if you're watching this course right now, you probably own a business. You probably had some form of success to be able to afford to get into this program. Maybe you're starting off and you don't, and this is good because you're going to catch yourself before this. However, you know, when I first got in the business, I was my only friend who'd ever made $1 million in a year. I'm still my only friend that I grew up with that's made over $1 million in a year out of my entire group. And I want to state one thing, like I was in the Air Force when I was 22, 23 years old. I was very unsuccessful. However, if I look at all the people I've grown up with, the people I went to high school with, if I compare myself to my parents, my childhood friends, I'm by far the most successful person. And that's a problem on itself, but I want to talk about what happens right here in particular. So when you get your initial success, you start winning, you fall into this really nasty trap, because usually the reason why you're the most successful person you know, or you're the most talented person you know, except when you're going to masterminds and stuff like that, is simply by talent. Let's just get one thing straight. If you're a successful entrepreneur and you've crushed it, you're probably smarter than most people. You are probably more ambitious. You probably have more talent. And that's why you're successful right now. That's why you had your initial business success. That's why you got into business in the first place. You're willing to bet on yourself. You're kind of a badass. But here's the problem with that. So let's imagine when you're in high school, you're dunking on everybody. You're just slam dunking it over and over and over again, and it's very easy for you to win. So you don't really have to develop any discipline or hardcore anything, okay? But the problem is once you got in the college ball, you come from a field where you're the best athlete. You easily can win on talent alone. And then you get into a field where you're trying to get from college ball to playing pro, which maybe you want to scale your business to $1 million, 8 figures, etc. And then what happens is something really nasty happens to you. Every other person you start playing against is just as talented and as smart as you. Okay, once you get past the couple 6-figure mark, once you get going towards making $1 million a year, heck, even when you're getting in the business, everyone you're competing with is smart as you or more talented. In fact, most people you're competing with are smarter than you and more talented. There's people that I know that I've competed against that I know are smarter than I am. I don't have a genius IQ. And so the problem is, you get into this routine in your life where you start thinking your talent and smarts is enough to get you through. But the problem is, as soon as you join into Pro Lead, everybody else is smart and talented. So you don't have any edge there. And so suddenly your edge goes away and you can't grow. You can't move forward. And if you want to go pro, the only way to really go pro is you have to beat other people. But because you can only beat high schoolers, you're talented, you're lean, you're LeBron James, but you have nothing else going for you, you're not going to win. And in order to win and go pro, you have to beat other people. And so what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to beat people that are smarter than you and more talented than you. How do you do that? How do you do that? And that's the paradox of success, because once you start getting success, you start thinking your talent is enough. You start thinking your smarts is enough. It's not. Doesn't matter. That's just enough to get in the door. And then what happens when you get in the door? You're just going to get haymakered because you don't understand how to get to the 0.01% and really get that edge. And this is how you get the edge. And this is why, to be successful in business, talents, tactics don't matter, because everybody can get tactics. Everybody can get talents. Okay? If the separating line between your business and other business is someone buying a course and getting tactics and talent, you're screwed. Okay? That's bad, because if that person equals your talent and they just buy better courses and better educate, they're just going to beat you. Okay? So there's something else that needs to happen. So like I said before, your competition is not only as smart as you, they're smarter than you. And the people that win are the ones that are optimized in every aspect of their life and business. And they know how to look at things and they know how to play the game correctly. Okay? So you must understand, when you get into this, you're no longer trying to beat high school kids. You're trying to beat Kobe Bryant. So if you had the same body type as Kobe Bryant, you had the stats, everything lines up, how are you going to beat Kobe Bryant? Because that's what you're going to have to do. Okay? If you look at Kobe, his body doesn't give him that much of an edge over other NBA players. Now let's get one thing straight. He's a physical specimen. That being said, his body isn't the greatest body to ever play in the NBA. Okay, that's not where his advantage comes from. There's plenty of other players that are just as fast and just as strong and just as quick as Kobe. So the reason why Kobe is one of the best and was the best is because he takes every single tiny advantage to complement his raw talent. Every single one. You need to go watch the Kobe Bryant documentary. This guy optimizes to the 0.00001%. And if you think you're going to go against someone like this without taking every tiny advantage yourself, it just won't work. Because here's the thing. All right, let's imagine you have the same body type as Kobe Bryant. You go against Kobe Bryant. But if this guy is super duper optimized, he's taken every single advantage, he's going to wipe the floor with you. And that's what happens to a lot of your businesses. That's why your business won't scale, is because you're trying to go in and play against someone who's as smart and talented as you, with significant disadvantages to how your businesses are structured and how you run your businesses. So it won't work. Okay? If you take a clone of me with all my talent skills who doesn't have the business optimization and strategies that I do when it comes to my life and how I work, the clone is going to lose every single time. And if you think you're as smart as me, which you probably are, and you think you're going to beat me in a head-to-head battle without being as optimized and disciplined as I am, no, you're not. You're just going to lose. And that's why my business will scale. And you have to understand that scaling a business is simply beating other people. It's not some secret ad strategy. So the real difference in business is the winners are not the people with the best tactics. The winners are the people who are smarter than everyone. They're more organized. They're more focused. They think clearer. They have more energy. And they have extremely disciplined work habits. And they are not, for anybody in this program who doesn't like cussing, I want to state this real quick. I'm going to curse a few times in this program. I'm going to try not to curse excessively. If you don't like it, I'm terribly sorry. That's it, okay? But these people are not fucking around. They are not screwing around. This is not casual. This is life and death to them. So what you need to understand about this is most people who are trying to scale their business past $1 million a month or a couple $100,000 a month, or just really hit any type of scale, they're trying to be successful by any means possible without doing the hard stuff or sacrificing. And here's what happens. If you try to do this or beat anyone like me or beat me, and I'm not giving myself some massive compliment, in every single niche you're going to run up to someone like this. You are always going to run into the beast in the room. You're going to run up to the Kobe Bryant. And if you try and beat these people without a crystal clear head, without serious work discipline, energy, or clear focus, or extreme efficiency, you just won't. It won't happen. Whatever your niche is, I don't care what it is, there is always going to be a person. As you start to scale up, you might start to get sales, your business might start to work, and then you're going to run into the person who's not effing around, who is not messing around. He takes it serious. This is life and death to him. He is going to do whatever it takes. He's going to work 12 hours a day. He's going to learn every efficiency tactic there is. And in order for you to beat this person, let's imagine you have a same IQ. A lot of these times, these people have higher IQs than you, okay? And often, other times you might run into people who have higher IQs than you, but that's actually their disadvantage because they think they're so damn smart. But what's going to happen is if that person has a greater IQ than you, or is smarter than you, or is the same smarts and talent as you, you're going to hit their business when you're scaling your ads. And because they control the market, they control the cost per customer, you're going to bounce off them like a brick wall. And this is what happens. This is why people can't scale. What's going on in scaling is not the Facebook algorithm not working in your favor. It's not the Google Ads algorithm not working in your favor. It's not because you didn't say the right thing in your ads. It's because you ran into a business at scale who's controlling the marketplace, and they control the cost per customer, and you can't compete with them, and so you lose. That's what's happening. That's why your ads won't scale. Man, if you can afford to operate at this level with this cost per customer, then you can scale. But you won't. Because this guy's sitting right here, and he's not going to give you the customer. He's buying the customer. He's the one bidding on the ads. And so you need to understand, this is like you coming from high school. You're getting your wins, you're beating the high school kids, and then you start playing a true athlete who is completely optimized. You're going to bounce off him like a brick wall. And you need to understand in every single niche, this is going to happen to you. And this is the hard truth you have to be able to recognize. In order to beat this guy, you're going to have to not just be as smart and talented, you're going to have to be more optimized as a person. That's the only way around it. And if you go and look at history, that's why in the reading list, I constantly suggest looking at the Industrial Revolution. If you look at John D. Rockefeller, Ford, Jeff Bezos, you really go look at the long list of entrepreneurs that I list in there, when they get into competitive markets, John D. Rockefeller was a smart guy. He reached a net worth of $600 billion. But he wasn't more successful because he was smarter, more talented, or had some genetic or mental advantage. The reason why he was so successful is this guy didn't F around. Everything he did in his business, go read his biography, was optimized at the point freakish 1%. And every ounce of what he did in his work was optimized this level. And so a long story short of what Johnny here did is everyone else in the oil industry basically was not optimized. They were all messing around. They were running their business like most entrepreneurs do. And so what he did is it was extremely unprofitable industry because there were so many people in the marketplace and nobody was really optimized and everyone was competing against their prices. And so the way John got an edge is he optimized his business. He was like Kobe Bryant going against 20 other Kobe Bryants, and he just optimized everything in the business, to the oil pipelines, to the price of the barrels, to like the caps on the barrels, to the exact cents he pays the workers, to everything. And he optimized it to the 0.0001%. And then he started buying up the resources that these oil refineries would rely on. And so he would find his margins in those 0.01% and then use that and also leverage those things to buy up their resources. And he killed every single oil refinery and put them all under his umbrella of Standard Oil. And so what happened in the oil industry was just this glorified on a gigantic scale. Everybody was hanging out at this level, and then they all ran into John, and John started hunting them all down. And that's exactly what happened, because none of them were disciplined, none of them were optimized, and so none of them can compete. Because when you go and optimize by 1%, so let's imagine you are competing with other businesses out there, and everybody has the same 100% edge. The way you win in this battle is you optimize by 1%, 1%, 1% in your life, your energy, your output as a person, and also your business, which we'll get into in business structure. And by that time, then you have 130% edge. And when you have this right here, this is all it takes. These people all lose to you by default, and that's exactly what happened in the oil industry. You go look at Henry Ford, he did the same exact thing. You go look at Jeff Bezos and Amazon, same exact thing. You go look at almost every big business that's in a competitive market. I'm not talking like a Google or a first to the show kind of business. I'm talking about a business where people get in like Amazon, where the market is not there, it's competitive, and there's other businesses in it that have gotten this stuff down. This is how they win every single time. Every single time. It's the greatest pattern of success you'll ever see. And so you need to stop thinking you can play pro ball on raw talent. Everyone has raw talent now. The separator is who optimizes that talent. And the things that optimize your talent is body, mind, work habits, and discipline. You're just going to have to be better than other people. Now, I'm not sitting up here. I want to state this because it could come off like I'm being an egotistical troll up here. I don't think I'm better than other people by default. I think my businesses are better, and I think I achieve more than other people because I work really hard. And I optimize at the 0.01%, and I sacrifice, and I do things that other people won't do. That's why I think I'm better in a lot of regards. And so there's nothing about me that makes me better than the average guy. I actually think I'm at disadvantages, and I have a lot that I have to make up for. And the curse of early success, for example, with me, was being the best early. Most entrepreneurs are successful. I'm assuming you are. You develop massive blindness, and you never learn to really work. You have very poor life habits. You have very little understanding of yourself. You have very poor focus, and you have massively distractive companies. And you overcame all these things with raw talent. So basically, you had horrible game as a ball player, but you're 7'2", and you're smashing over kids that are 5'2". Okay, and if you look at most people, I'm not saying most people stink. I don't think I'm smarter than most people. I think in entrepreneurship and money that there's a reason why 1% of people have everything. Okay, if you're in the 1% talent-wise, you're going to beat the 99%. And then what's going to happen is you're only competing with the 1% because that's where the pot is. Okay, so you have the entire pot being fought over by the top 1% who you're competing with, and you can't overcome it on raw talent alone anymore. And The problem with raw talent is this. A business once scaled at its core is simply decisions, ideas. And it's easy to raw power huge boost with raw talent, but it will never work long term and it won't scale. And you'll be in an endless plateau, which is where most entrepreneurs never get out of. Most entrepreneurs will have success and not have success and like stick in this level of only increasing their business by 50% or dropping by 50% their entire lives. And that's because, again, you can't escape it with raw talent. And when you have that initial success, you develop massive blindness, and so you can't see your problems, you can't see your truths. And this is where you have to really look at yourself and do some deep soul searching and figure out, where are your life habits and productivity unacceptable? Where is your work habits unacceptable? Where do you have very little understanding of yourself and where you are in your company? Are you even in the best position in your company? How's your focus? How many times have you checked your phone during this video? I don't even have a phone most of the time. Okay, I have a dead iPhone that's like kept on the roof of my house. How many times have you checked your Instagram and Facebook? That's going to tell you something. That's going to tell you something. And this is crippling when you approach your business like this. And this is what we must address. It's the number one reason why you will fail and get half results. I guarantee you, if you're super talented and you take all my tactics and everything, it's not going to work. You're going to run up against someone who is like me or like other people who are willing to make these sacrifices and to put the time into this stuff, and they're going to be using the same tactics, but they're going to be getting 10 times more out of them. Okay? And so this is how this works. You have to understand these 4 concepts. You have to master your time. You have to optimize your IQ and energy. You have to master your work and focus, and you have to understand yourself and place yourself in the best position in your company. Okay? And I want to explain how this works because, again, this is all about output and efficiency. This is not about you becoming a better quality person. That will be a cool benefit, but it's not. So right now you are a race car. That's how I'm looking at you. And we want to get from point A to point B as fast as possible. Okay, and we also have to beat a lot of other cars doing that. So where do we start off at? Where do we start off at? So the first thing we're going to want to do is we need to start with the gasoline. This is going to be your energy and IQ. Okay, so if we're putting bad gasoline into the engine, what's going to happen is the engine is not going to get as much return as it could for every second it's running. Okay, it's not going to get the same return for every second it's running. Let's imagine we have really poor gasoline. Your mind is weak. Your energy is weak. For every gallon you put in there, you're going to get like 0.5% back. All right, like 50% back. If we want to go out there and make sure our engine explodes, the first thing we want to do is we want to put the best, highest quality gasoline in there. All right, that's our ability to do work. And so if we can put gasoline in there, it's going to give us a 10x versus gasoline that's going to give us a 1x. We're going to get dramatically better results from our vehicle, okay, which is going to be our business. Okay, so the gasoline is your IQ, your smarts, your energy that we're putting into the business. Okay, once that's there, your car is going to start operating very well. So we have to optimize that first. Now, the next thing that we need to work on is how efficient the car is at using this gasoline. So let's imagine we have a 10x multiplier right here. We have 10 right here. Okay, so now we need to make sure the car can maximize the use of gasoline. Look, if you're really bad at managing your time and your work habits, what's going to happen right here is you're going to get a diminishing return on this gasoline right here. So you're going to get, like, again, 0.5% if you're really unfocused and you're not good at working with your time and running your time and putting in the same amount of work every single day and then maximizing that time. You're going to get actually less out of the gasoline you put into it. Even if you're really smart and have a ton of energy, it's not going to work. You see tons of entrepreneurs like this who are like super excited all the time, tons of energy, but they can't get anything done. Okay, it's because they can't manage their time. If you can go out there and streamline your time super effectively, you can get more done in 3 hours than most people can get done in a week. I see this all the time. This is why it takes people like 2 months to make a webinar sometimes. Okay, I can write and film a webinar in a single day because I can sit down and only work on that thing for 12 hours straight. And when you're able to maximize your time, let's imagine instead of getting a 0.5x right here, we're going to get a 3x for every unit of gasoline we put in there. Okay, so the engine's really efficient at spending the gasoline now. It's really efficient at that. Then finally, the next thing is focus. Look, if we have a race car and we have a CD player in there, we have an air conditioning system, we have a grill, okay? We have all sorts of stuff on there. That car is going to be heavy. And it's not going to be able to get to point A to point B as efficiently as possible. Okay? It's not going to be able to get there. So what we need to be able to do is we need to be able to focus. We need to be able to completely Focus. And so what most people do is they have so much stuff in their business that they don't need. We need to be able to read, and we'll talk about business structure and reduction in a bit, but we need to be able to reduce ourselves. We need to be able to remove everything from our life that doesn't have to do with our goal. Okay? And so what we need to do is we need to strip down the car even more so we can get a better multiplier. Most people have so many crazy things happening in their life. They have so much stuff going on that has nothing to do with their happiness, their family, or the results they're getting in their life. And so again, what happens is because of this, it's like we have a car right here that's super heavy. And it's also like driving all over the place. I'm sure you've seen tons of entrepreneurs that are like doing 10 different things. And as far as the business goes, getting from point A to point B in a straight line, that's a business thing, okay? But we need to focus on removing things from it that make the car heavy. And I'm sure you see entrepreneurs all the time. They get in, they have a billion different things going on in their life. They're dealing with like this crazy social life and like trying to be famous, like all sorts of nonsense. And then their businesses are like going in 10 different directions. They have 6 different businesses. Those are 2 different problems, but we need to remove all the nonsense from our life so we can focus on just getting point A to point B. That's the same thing as removing junk from the car. And then finally, what we need to do is we need to only enter races where we can win. Look, if you are an off-road vehicle, or you're an Indy car, or you are a watercraft, I don't know, like a hovercraft that's really good against going across water, you have to know what type of car you are. Most people don't know what type of car they are. And so you have like hovercrafts trying to win an Indy race, and then you have like Indy cars trying to win an off-road race, and it's not going to work. And so you have to know exactly who you are, and then only enter races that you're optimized to win in. And when you do these things together, your results are going to 10x compared to a person that has really poor gasoline, okay? So they're putting like 0.5, they're getting 0.5 results on their gasoline. Again, they're getting 0.5 results on their time, and then they're super distracted. So what happens with their cars is it's actually being slowed down by their life. It's not moving faster. Everything in their life subtracts from this. So again, they're like getting another 0.2. And then what happens is then they're trying to like win a race against other people. This won't work. They will lose every single time, and they're also on a racetrack they have no business doing. They're like a hovercraft trying to win an Indy race. It's not going to work. And so when you enter this right here, this is why if you take all my tactics, it won't work. This is why I said this week is so important, because if you try to win a race, again, success is beating other people. Let's get one thing straight. And if you try to beat other people with this situation right here, not going to work. Not going to work. I could have horrible tactics, but if I'm operating on this level right here, I'm going to beat you every single time. I could have less talent and worse tactics than you, and I'm going to win just from the output alone. So we have to maximize the vehicle. We have to maximize you. Okay? We have to maximize you before we try and win a race. And I realize this metaphor doesn't line up in all regards, but this is the best way I can explain it to you. And so the 3 parts of that are going to be your time. And so the 3 parts of that are going to be your energy and smarts. It's going to be your time. It's going to be your focus. It's going to be understanding yourself. If you don't do these things, you're going to be driving this right here, and this will never work. You could have the best ad strategy on planet Earth, never work. Not in a million years. You could have an okay ad strategy right here, and it will work. You'll be able to scale this. This is very scalable. This is a 7-figure, 8-figure, even 9-figure business right here. So let's dive into that.